All right, bang, bang. Today's Thursday. It's April 21st. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. I'm sitting down here. It's myself. It's Chief. It's Jeff D. Lowe. Jeff, welcome to... you've been here for a couple days, but now that you're... live show is over. Mm-hmm. You guys have watched the first round of it by this point. So we could talk about that, correct? I always want to triple check.
It's
you never want to be that guy.
If it's spoiled, it's on you at this point. The match has been out for 24 hours now. So
yeah.
Or just about.
Yeah. I mean, at least.
But if you haven't,
whatever.
don't keep listening.
Turn off the podcast.
Yeah.
This is your warning.
Wait for 1 minute.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you can turn it off.
Exactly. So what's your happiness level with that, Jeff?
I'm pleased. I'm very pleased. I'm never pleased by anything. Not like that's people are like, oh, this guy. Not like work stuff. I'm never satisfied.
Yeah.
I just don't, and that's probably a bad trait. But I'm very happy with last night.
I don't think that's a bad trait.
Maybe, I don't know. It's a perfectionist problem. It definitely. That's a different discussion for a different day. Mm-hmm. I probably should enjoy some shit I do at work, but
I do think it's important to smell the roses once in a while.
Yeah, that's true, and I think I did last night to an extent. There was actually, if you
it was cool.
Okay. I okay. I don't want. I'm trying not to spoil shit. There was a moment. I won't say what it was. There was a moment where I actually did. And I'll tell you guys after.
Okay.
And you'll know where you'll be able to see where I kind of like breathe for a second. I was like, this is fucking awesome. So you're right.
Can you say it was in the finals match, after the finals match?
It happened in the finals.
Okay.
It happened in the finals.
Okay.
Yeah, it happened in which now you're going to see. It airs the 21st.
Yes, so
Frank
tonight
Gatz against the Yak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There is a moment in that where like you see me breathe and like I kind of like for the first time.
Will you be able to visibly see this? Will the people be able to see this?
Yeah. Now that you know, there's a moment. There's a moment where you can tell like I kind of break because I'm very to get a little peek behind the curtain. I still run it out of off my computer off Photoshop. Mm-hmm. I reveal Photoshop layers.
Yeah.
And it's very nerve-wracking to not show. In LA, I accidentally clicked the wrong layer and I held my mouse and I ripped the HDMI cable out of my computer so nobody saw what the answer was.
Oh, Jesus.
And we reset.
Wow.
And actually, if you weren't there in Chicago before, we tell people like this is a taping. Mm-hmm. We're taping this. So there could be a technical issue, like your mic, for example, went out. And we just stopped and said, hey, this is like TV magic, we're going to reset. Which is like, there is no game show that airs live anywhere. Yeah. I mean, Jeopardy airs, fucking 4 or 5 months after that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Like, that happens in real life. So, like, that's what we have to do. Like, that's just how it is. But, like, it's running out of my computer. Everything else is, like, production and high quality. But everything,
it
that
looked
one
spectacular. Like when we walked in and the set was all built.
Oh my God, set was incredible.
The set was incredible. Yeah. And should shout out the crowd too. The crowd was absolutely
I was
electric.
Purposely hard on the crowd because LA got a little away from us, which you can attest to, Eddie. Mm-hmm. The championship match was a little too drunk. They had been drunk for hours. And it was just a little too rowdy. Also, this crowd, I think, knew they were in a theater. It was kind of like a theater decorum.
As opposed to a bar.
As opposed to a bar.
Yeah.
But I was intentionally hard on them because I knew that if I started to say like, "Oh, you're great," they might like let the reins off a little bit. I'll tell you what, they were good in the second match. I think one or two times I was like, "Yo, you got to chill the fuck out." The championship match, they were the best behaved the whole night.
Well, it was because I think it was just such an electric match.
Yeah,
no
you're
spoilers.
in for a show.
Yeah, it's like must see TV. It's like
straight from the jump.
The Thriller in Manila. It's like an unbelievable match.
Yeah. So it's very good. You guys will definitely enjoy it. That's
we're
going on tour in the fall. I don't think we have the cities locked in yet, but it'll be northeast adjacent, maybe a little towards the south. One college town, which is going to be.
Oh wow!
I don't know how we're going to control that crowd.
Give us a spoiler here, Jeff. Give us break some news.
I think, and I'm not going to get in trouble for it. Just if you're in this city and it doesn't happen, don't get mad at me. Tentatively, it's a Big Ten rivalry game.
Oh, okay.
It's a Big
Is it
Ten
the big one?
Game. It's not Ohio State, Michigan.
Okay, all right.
But it's a Big Ten rivalry game.
It makes me think it's Happy Valley.
I won't say anything. We're not doing Penn State. I would love to go back to Penn State. Okay. So it will make complete sense when I tell you.
Okay. All right.
But that one is going to be crazy. There is no shot, and Pete told me Pete got booed mercilessly.
Which is awesome.
But he also
They crushed it last night.
He seemed like he loved it.
He
Yeah.
loves that.
And then
They crushed it last night, though.
We were stage left when Pete was walking off, and then someone's like, "Oh, come on!" Actually, I think you said it, Jeff. You're like, "Give it up for Pete," and then like they clapped a little bit, and Pete's like, "That was way less loud. That was way quieter."
The boos were loud, yeah.
Like,
he told me, him and I talked for about 20, 30 minutes yesterday about before the show about like what we're gonna like, how's it gonna go, and future ones, and the dozen's done in May until September. We're gonna spend the entire summer building out a way where I'm not doing it off my computer.
Good,
because honestly, like it's just the most. I wasn't nervous for being in front of a crowd. It's just, and actually, for people who are watching at home, I actually gave up on showing the answers to the crowd. I don't know if you noticed that. I didn't reveal the answer on the screen.
Okay.
It's like it's not worth like. It's not even worth me like. I had the answer on my Excel spreadsheet. I can just say the answer.
Well,
out loud.
let me ask you when you gave up. But before we do, though, I assume that in some way, shape, or form, hopefully the dozen tickets could be bought on the Game Time app. Maybe at some point.
That would be lovely.
In the future?
In the future, that'd be great. So the Game Time app, baseball's back, obviously. Cubs, White Sox, whichever team you like in this city. It's the best spot to go if you need tickets.
Yep. Bulls home game coming up for the playoffs too.
Yep. Make sure you check that out. Like, listen, I know you're going to be, cycling through these apps. You need to get Game Time in the mix. It should be your number one app. So, it's the best place and to get the cheapest last-minute tickets with the Game Time app. Ever dreamed of sitting in the first row or behind home plate or catching dingers in the outfield? It's all possible with the Game Time app. It's the biggest last-minute price drops that can be found in the seats you thought you could never buy. The best part is you get $20 off your first purchase. So download the Game Time app, go to the account tab, and create a login and redeem code DOGWALK for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, so make sure you look into that. But make sure you're downloading that Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Go do it. We'll get the dozen.
I haven't done it yet.
show.
I'm going to Bolt Preds in Tampa.
Ooh,
this weekend.
Beautiful.
I'm very
nice.
excited.
I'm going to Wrigley on Friday and Saturday. I got the tickets Friday through Game Time.
You use that Game Time app.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
What was the what was the capacity? Do we
Last
know?
night?
Yeah.
Probably 950, 1,000. There was a couple empty seats up top. Some people had to like get rid of tickets, but I mean, I think it was almost completely full.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
it got
great.
loud. It
Yeah, it
got
was
loud
loud.
in there. Like there was cheering and chanting. It was the booing.
Well, let me
of
ask
Pete.
you. Let me ask you something. Obviously, there was people were fans of you because there's the Blake Hoffman thing. I got booed mercilessly.
That's when you stopped showing it, though.
No,
I'm correct.
that wasn't why.
That-
okay.
I stopped. I made a decision in my head. So the toughest thing to show is the bonus round because the bonus round, even when we do it on Zoom, I have to tell people like, hold on a second because I have to reveal. I have to click the dot to show that you got it right or wrong.
Yep.
And then I have to show the name. And I was like, fuck, this is just so many steps. And the lists, you're giving the answers quick. I said, you know what? I'm just going to reveal the name and say out loud what the score is.
Okay.
That was easier.
Yeah.
Because once you get to sudden death, then it's like, okay.
So I did notice that the green dots.
I was like,
weren't
fuck.
going
And
up
I
yet.
actually told the crowd I'm not going to do that. I said, if you're at
Okay.
home, I think in the championship, you're going to hear me say in the bonus round, like, if you're at home, you see the green dots. If you're not, I'm just going to say the score out loud.
Okay.
It was just easier and it was less stressful for me
Yeah.
because I have the monitor in front of me. That's why like doing it with a program in the fall is going to be so much easier. But yeah,
I think the show's big enough now that you should probably not be doing it on
right.
Photoshop.
And I can do it at home. It's great.
Yeah.
And honestly, at home, it's great. And I think, and I don't know this for sure, but I think there's an appreciation from like the video team and like the dozen. Look, we're not foreplay. We're not chiclets. We're not like that big of a wagon at all. We're not even a wet, but like we're a very solid show that has big sponsors now, makes money. I'm very proud of that. But we're very small. It's just me and it's just one producer, and that's it. I still edit every match, and I love doing that. But I think there's like an appreciation from like people in the company. I hope there is that like we don't need a billion fucking producers for it.
No.
Like, I like that. That's why I still want to do it off my computer at home. Like I think it's like that's what's so easy about it is that it's a light lift for the company. And then when we want to do the big events, then we have the resource for the big events. So I hope that like. But
those would be called fat margins.
Right.
The dozen has fat margins.
we're not, we're not
very little overhead.
We're not the chicks. We're not foreplay. Like, we want to get there, but that's why, like,
Jeff, margins are margins. It doesn't cost anything to make that show, and you're making money.
right? Like,
Yeah.
like that's the like. I pride myself more on that than anything that I can just like do it off my fucking computer in my office. And shout out to Robbie, aka Goochman. I'll dox him, who's our producer extraordinary. We also have a guy, Alan, who
Was he the scorekeeper too? Who does the scorekeeper?
He's the scorekeeper.
Okay.
Goochman. Alan.
Alan helps write
Robbie?
the questions. He's been great this year. We just added him this year. But it's like, I pride myself on like it being a low lift. However, definitely gonna get assistant bill so I don't do that on my computer ever again in front of 1,000 people. That was awful. Like I was like really like
nervous about it.
Yeah, and I don't really like get nervous for that shit.
That's interesting because like that would be the last thing to cross my mind. Like I was sitting there like maybe.
Did you feel any nerves up there?
I mean, honestly, not until you're like. There's something about being on stage right or stage left and just looking out, and like there's something about that I think you're just always nervous.
Yeah,
But once
there's a juice.
Once you go through, it's like
I would say exactly that. I had like a little bit of like butterflies, not bad. When the introductions were going on, I had a little bit of butterflies, but once we sat at like the podium, I was like, this is the same show that we've done. It's just a little bit different.
Yeah.
And it was.
And I don't love that shit. Like I don't really like. I don't know. I do get kind of a little anxiety in those moments, but like it's different too. That doesn't like you're at the end of the day. Like we've got to use our brain and answer some questions.
Well, and that's what I said to White Sox Dave. I would be way more nervous and have been when we do live red lines than I was for that.
Yes, that's what I mean. Like live podcasts where you're like, oh fuck, like people got to pay attention. Like hopefully, like you don't know if there's a lull. Like you just don't really know. With like questions, you could hear people cheer. It's like it's a better format for a live show.
It's so easy to be the contestant. You, Jeff.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
For the host,
and that's
make
why
sure
I wanted
everything
like
was
and shout
right
out to like Pete, Andrew Manley. I'm just gonna name names. Logan, Trey back in New York, Youngstown Bob, and a bunch of other people. Which I it's a long list. The live like the dozen at home, small lift. Trey, who is a genius, and he does graphics and videos.
Yeah.
And Quiggs is a fucking
Quiggs is unbelievable.
And they help a little less with like the Zoom stuff. Live show stuff, tournament. Trey is gonna do the whole tournament selection, something unbelievable. And so like while when it's like the weekly stuff, like I'll take a lot of the credit. The big shit, I'll take 10% of credit. Like they are fucking wagons. Quiggs, I just said to Quiggs, I'm like, hey, can you do like Final Four intros so we can play them in the crowd? It's just like those were insane.
Yeah.
I gave one of our guys, Trey, last year, just the file. I recorded. I'm doing the selection show from this room, by the way.
Oh, cool.
When I'm back in 2 weeks at Barstool America. I gave him just the file of the selection show last year. I'm like, hey, can you make it like kind of look like CBS? The selection show last year for the dozen like looked exactly like CBS produced it.
Yeah,
I was like, are you serious, dude? This is our graphics and like video. Like I've never given them something and not had my expectations like disgustingly so exceeded. Where I'm like, I kind of feel bad I had you do that. Like I'm kind of like, they're so good.
Those guys like Quiggs and Trey. I'm less familiar with Trey, but I feel like Quiggs is the best at his job of maybe anybody in the company.
Dude,
like
last
he's
year,
so good at.
But
those.
it's also the funniest part about it is it's not his job. His job is to like do TikTok for the company.
I mean, it's just crazy.
Technically, yes.
Yeah.
But he just loves hopping on other projects and like helping out.
He's so good at it.
Last year, we had to export. We had to type in and export every question for the entire dozen tournament, one by one. Trey the other day automated everything. So all we got to do is you just put it in the spreadsheet from my Excel doc that I have for all my questions. Bang, all pops right out.
See, like that's the type of thing where I'm like, well, let's just put it on a whiteboard. If I was in charge, I'd be like, let's just put it on a whiteboard and we'll erase it and write it out every question.
I've been trying to poach him to Chicago for a while.
Have you?
Yeah, he's a St. Louis.
Yeah, he's a Midwest guy.
Yeah,
okay.
He is. Oh my, he is. They're unbelievable. Trey is. A lot of people deserve a lot of credit for the dozen who don't always get it. He's one. He's like, when you watch the tournament this year, just know that there's a lot of people involved, but Trey is a machine on getting all that shit together.
We should start like a recruiting like actual process. We got Tom in here. We got Tom in here.
That's
We
true.
recruited him.
Yeah, we love our guys too. Harry does a good job. Harry, like you need to go to, you would probably love a boot camp to go Quiggs boot camp. Like that should be for new editors, right? Harry's.
Let me get my mic on here. Yeah, that's right up my alley. I like that.
Yeah, no pressure. Go learn from an aerospace engineer.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, hey, let's take a quick break here because we got to talk about Roman. If you're enjoying these dozen episodes, it's Thursday night right now. Maybe whenever it is, you need those Roman swipes.
I have to have them. Absolutely. And it's like I've been saying this to people. The weather's starting to get warmer. People are going to be out. People are going to be more social. You're going to meet. I'm going to hype people up. I'm going to hype up the audience. You're going to meet a girl this summer. You're going to meet many girls, and you want to have Roman ready for when you need it.
Yep. So Roman, an online men's health company. They changed the game with these Roman swipes. It's a secret to longer lasting sex. It's a clinically proven way to last longer in bed. They're effective, easy to use, and fast acting, but they don't require a prescription. Roman can ship swipes to you in discreet, unmarked packaging, and each swipe packet is small enough to hide in your wallet for whenever you need it. They're super easy to use. Just take the swipe out of the packet, swipe it on, let it dry. You're good to go. That's it. Go to GetRoman.com/dogwalk to get $10 off when you choose a monthly plan. That's GetRoman.com/dogwalk. One more time, GetRoman.com/dogwalk. Go do it. Up the sex game with Roman. That's really all there is to it, folks. Go do it. All right, let's get back to the episode.
I mean, okay, so wait, I want to ask you.
Yeah.
It was a Chicago crowd. I got booed on the Blake Hoffarber thing. Which were you trying to? Did you think that was an unfair ruling?
No.
Okay, it was ridiculous that Dave thought I should give him Hoff
What
power.
happened? Can you tell? It was hard to
He
follow.
said Hoff power.
He was like, well, we have a phrase here, directionally correct in this office.
Yes.
So, but like, even when Dave, I couldn't, it sounded like to me I was getting frustrated because it sounded like he was saying what Reeg said into the phone, and I don't know if he did or didn't, to be honest. But like when he was spelling it and he kept putting the P in there, I'm like, wow, it's Dave. Like I'm reading it on the screen.
Big Cat's like, dude, it's in front of your fucking face. Stop saying that.
Yeah.
But like so lately I've been a little more lenient. It's Hoffarber.
Hoffarber?
Like Hoffarber. He's the guy who made the shot from his ass.
The state championship was like the most
He won an
viral.
ESPY.
Yeah.
So I told, and he had a crazy shot against like Indiana in the Big Ten tournament. It's like a left-handed shot he made.
Yep. To like, I think that might have like that game like elevated them to a tournament position.
Yeah. It was back when they had Tubby and they were they were starting to like Minnesota
Yep.
was good for a little while. And I've been like lately a little more lenient on giving answers if like it's a very tough pronunciation. If he had said like Hofbauer, like I might have been like, you know what, I'm gonna give it to you. But the problem is on the other side, he says Hofpower. I actually thought Big Cat would know it. I was surprised he didn't. If he says Hofpower and I give it to him, and then Big Cat's like, that's not his, like, Big Cat knows it.
Yeah.
Like if he had known it.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I can't risk, like, if he knows, like, the actual correct one, like, that's really tough for me to, like, not.
What round would you say that? It was kind of like six or seven?
That was fifth. College football, basketball was in the first half.
Okay. I felt like our team was already on tilt off the rails that I was like, wow. Well, this is not worth like the battle.
You had a chuckle. I didn't know if
Yeah.
you were trying to argue. I could tell you were more getting Dave to chill out because then you're like, Jeff, whatever. You're like, at this point, whatever. Yeah. But again, Chicago crowd, they were really mad at me about that.
Yeah.
But
I don't even know if they're mad. Like people are hyping the crowd up. Like, some people just like to hoot and holler. Hoot and holler.
Because you didn't know, like, is it a Big Cat crowd or Chicago? That's tough. The Bad Boys chant had to be a little tough off the top. You're like, oh, fuck.
That. Like so that's something I think for if we're ever invited. Like our performance was so pitiful.
I mean, ours was awful too.
That I don't know if we'll be invited to the next live show. But if we are,
you'll be invited. You're on the list for another live show or two for sure. Obviously,
we need to come up with some kind of crowd play because I was as soon as they were doing that and they had everybody was waving their arms. I was like, fuck, like they're already.
But I honestly don't think that the crowd slanted one way or another. Every team got some love, I thought.
Yeah,
except for there was only one guy who got it head and shoulders over any of it. No, Frank.
Oh, Frank.
Championship match.
Frank got the biggest pop by far.
The funniest thing of the championship match is when you're watching at home, pay attention to the struggle the crowd has between deciding who they want to root for.
Yeah.
They couldn't decide. They were they're like, we love Frank, but like the Yak Bad Boys are like kind of awesome. We want like it.
Yeah, I don't think it was like there was no like
the crowd play by them though, like just getting everybody involved and chanting, the arms going back and forth.
Big Cat waited almost a year on that, dude. Remember, they were like they got yelled at by me against Smockin last year in the tournament because they were, and you guys almost played them had you beat Smockin.
Yeah,
they were so disruptive. I was like, you can't be that disruptive. Like, you're almost like derailing it.
Right.
And fans were a little too like ridiculous about them. Like, it was a little too much. People were like, you should never let the Yak play. I'm like, I'm gonna let fucking Big Cat and Shape play again.
Yeah.
Like, we still want to have fun. That was when I was like, all right, we gotta have a little more fun with the show. It can be serious, but it can be like serious fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
Right. Like I like the serious aspect, but like let's still have like a fun element to it. But they were monitored. They were the nice guy Yak all year.
Yeah.
And then in LA. And when he said, because Dave's like, he's like, because it was funny. I told Dave by the pool when he came over and talked to me in LA after my dad passed. And he was like, I was like, he's amped to be here, and we were just talking about the dozen and stuff, and he says he always loved. I said he always loved that you joined the dozen. He was like, oh shit, like the dozen must be getting bigger now. That was like his thing when Dave joined it. He's like, oh, so he's a ZD fan. So yeah, I probably root for ZD. He goes, good to know. And then the next night he's like, Jeff's dad's last wish is ZD. And then Big said his last wish was that the bad boy Yak returns. And the second they did that chant, it just kind of they were back because they did lose to Frank, but they just like dismantled Kirk the last week.
Yeah.
They're so locked in. So yeah, it was
We should have fucking beat him in LA.
Yeah, that was
we were right there.
The kid fucked you. Ask the audience. By the way, Big had great suggestion last night. We're gonna get rid of the phone a friend. Actually worked out well. Here, but we're gonna get rid of the phone a friend. It's gonna be 2 Ask the Audience.
Our Ask the Audience, like we picked some. I wasn't even pointing at.
You should have picked the Raptors guy.
Yeah, that's who I thought was coming up, and there was.
I did too.
And then it was.
I've learned that in 2 shows. Yeah. There's a lot of assumed I'm being picked by the audience. Yeah. A lot of you. It's gonna be tough.
We
to
almost
tell.
need those auction panels. So it's like I'm calling on 67 right there.
I was a little better
here.
with it this time. Like you'll see both teams use whatever. Spoiler mild. Both teams use Ask the Audience in the championship match. And there's actually the Yak team was more specific about theirs. Like they knew right away. Where I actually leaned into Nick. A couple people stood up to walk up on stage, and I told Nick, I'm like, hey, can we just be specific of who you pick out? Because LA, we had one guy come up who was so drunk.
Yeah.
He was not the guy.
Yeah. Well, even our guy, it was like we were saying that name, and then he came up and he was like,
Antonio McDice.
Yeah.
I was like,
well, no, he said
Rasheed Wallace.
Oh,
right.
And I'm like,
it's definitely Rasheed.
We threw that at, like we didn't want that.
No,
that's why we called you, because we were like, it's not.
Rasheed was already a piece at that.
Yeah, you got to give something else, to
right?
At least give you a chance to be like, all right, is that a better answer than Rasheed?
Right.
Rasheed was on this team the whole season, right? Like
I was trying to remember because the question was 07 Pistons, and I was like, I was trying to remember when he went to the Celtics and if he won a championship. It was like right around that same time frame. But it was like, Rasheed. I'm like, dude, like we had that name.
Chris Webber on the Pistons is still. I can't believe that existed.
I remember it.
Because
I'm a
too.
Cavs fan.
Yeah,
Cavs played them 2 years in a row, Eastern Conference Finals.
I remember it being a big story because it was like Chris Webber finally going back home to Michigan, and they were still a very good team because they lost the Celtics in the conference finals that year or the year after, and like so they had their championships and then. They went to the finals.
They lost the finals with Spurs, and then the next year they lost to the Cavs. That was the Boobie Gibson conference finals.
Yeah, but they had beat the Lakers. Like they were like the dominant team in the East for a long time, and that was at the very tail end. And then the Celtics got them. But I can't remember. I couldn't remember C-Web until it was said, and then I'm like I remember I have a visual of like the Sports Center. Like breaking, like here's Chris
McDice
Webber.
wasn't a bad guess though either on the other side. It wasn't.
I when they said that I was like, oh, that sounds right. That sounds.
Were you able to hear any answers from the crowd?
No. Could you?
Neither was I.
Yeah.
No, but I was like, but what's interesting sitting in the crowd after because obviously we're watching the championship. Like I was talking about it with Clem and Dana and like. As soon as you say the question, everybody's whispering around. So I'm like, damn, I wonder if but you really couldn't hear.
You're definitely doing that in the box.
Yeah.
You can't hear. You can hear whispering, but you can't hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
Which is. I was like, all right, guys, just like let's.
I think that's almost good in a way, the whispering, because that just shows you like everybody's engaged. It's not.
For sure.
It's better than them being on their phones or.
People kept tweeting. People are. I hate like unnecessary negativity on Twitter. Like I get Twitter's Twitter and it's like dunking on people and shit, and I do it too. And I'm any criticism I have of Twitter, I'm guilty of doing at some point.
Yeah.
But it's like we tweet out live event. People are like, no shot, nobody spoils. No shot, nobody. No shot, nobody yells out an answer. I'm like, why even tweet this? Like, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean? Actually, was never worried about that. It didn't happen in L.A.
No.
There one thing happened where somebody went no when Big Cat said an answer. That was one thing.
That was only in L.A.
It's like
Someone
5
screamed
hours
in our
ago.
match too.
Somebody did this. Somebody did a Macklemore joke before I even showed the question, and I was like, all right, even joke answers don't do it. Like that's fine, but like he wasn't trying to give an answer. He didn't even know the question yet.
Yeah.
So like that was fine, but I was never worried about that. Like you're not gonna I just wasn't. Yeah, it didn't concern me. Yeah, never did.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people are. I don't know. It's either they want to show that they know it or they want to be part of the action.
Might
So,
it happen one day?
That's
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
what
But
I'm
like,
saying.
but it's not like there was a mindset of it like, oh, every question you're gonna have to have
Oh,
backup. People are like, you
yeah.
should have backup. I'm like, it's not gonna. I don't.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
No, for sure.
I thought it was great production, great show.
Yeah.
It worked out. Yeah. Well, again, anything at home, I'll take a lot of credit for. Anything not at home, we owe the people behind the scenes owe a shitload. I wrote questions. I think they were fair. I gave predictions for the 2 matches. I thought both matches would be about 12 to 10 each.
That was not the case.
Did not happen.
Didn't live up to
I
our
mean,
end of the
your
bargain.
match was dead on arrival. The second you missed that first one, it was
Yeah.
because that changes the whole match.
That's the worst
You actually
feeling.
you would have been more than alive throughout the match. You'd have been in good shape.
Yeah. Because that was the big swing because then they got it.
Yeah.
And we had already said Oakland A's and went with the Yankees. So, like, we just
And then
Us was. I mean, if you lose the bonus and then you lose a double right after, that's just a 1-2 KO.
yeah, you're like
dead.
I think our match was 4-0 before like in the second round. We're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like we're
no, you got the celebrity match. You got
Sully
Brolin
match. Yeah,
and Gwyneth
Pal-
Paltrow.
Paltrow, yeah.
Yeah, ours was
Yours-
4-2, and then boom, 8-2.
Yeah.
I actually gave you 2 MTV questions too.
And later on,
Jeff, at some point, I would appreciate if you would
Oh, you're
work
talking about that.
hockey back into it.
Hockey's tough, and like this is where it becomes. But like you see, there's a couple interchangeable categories. College football used to be a constant. It's not a constant anymore.
Yep.
It's just tough. And like we've actually talked about this.
I know. I'm just giving
with
you a
your
hard
match.
time.
No,
Yeah,
it's a good
yeah.
question though, because like there's not many teams that can do hockey, so you don't get hockey often.
Right.
When you play a team that does hockey, you get hockey.
Yeah.
And if you play a team that has like remember we did this with I think Chicago, and I peek behind the curtain. I asked teams. Teams will know sometimes what's happening. Like you guys played Kirk, and I gave you guys. I said before, I'm like, I will do X questions, but I'll give golf. That's Kirk knows golf, but so does Carl.
Yeah.
And just to make it fair, like I don't ever want to have happen in the tournament last year where like I didn't give you guys baseball.
Yeah.
And like I was like I gotta like you're not supposed to stack matches like that. Like legally, like real trivia, you can't do that. Like game shows, like legally, like it becomes a problem. It's like a I don't know what it is, but I know
I didn't know that there were game show laws.
we can do this though.
Yeah.
Like I think it's about
no
giving money
prize
away
money,
on TV
yeah.
and like all
okay.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We I can stack matches, and I do. People know that. Like I try to create a match that
That's
is going to go to
entertaining.
overtime
Yeah.
every time. That's
Yep.
my goal. And you know, I know going into a match that some categories one side has a little easier question. If that happens, there's going to be a question later on where it evens out, and the other side's going to have an easy. There's categories where I know for a fact there's a category in the championship. So I'm giving you a spoiler on one. They both score at least 1 point. There's a spoiler.
Yeah.
I knew for a fact in one category, each team knew the answer, and they'd probably answer quickly, and it would be electric. Now, they could also forget, and it would be kind of electric as well.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm trying to entertain here. So it's not like I'm not fixing matches, but, like, I try to make it where, like, I'm giving teams
It's
a
a
chance.
little Vince McMahon. Like you're trying to create an entertaining product.
There are some teams who have no business playing other teams, that they're just so much worse. And, like,
Yeah.
I don't want blowouts aren't fun.
No.
Right. Because then it's just like you're looking at your watch.
But like hockey,
Yeah.
like hockey, if you play Chicklets tomorrow, you'd get hockey. But then so you guys are tough because you guys know a lot of
Because we're so smart in so many different ways.
but you guys do know a lot of sports. Like you have a
Yeah.
lot of sports knowledge.
Yeah.
So like I can't do like the trade-off thing.
Yeah.
Where like some teams, like if like Brandon, so for example, Brandon, PFT, and Fran do not get college football against Chicklets in match 200, the last
Okay.
match. They get if I moved it down to college and university. When I do college and universities, that means the other team doesn't know college football or college basketball that well.
Okay.
but it's also like, listen, there are teams that are very good. Like obviously, Kurt's a cheat code. Castellani's very good. Frankettes are very good. Yeah,
Castellani and Reeves have not had a regular college basketball question in like 2 months. They have not played a
Really?
team that has like college basketball
Yeah.
knowledge.
But at the end of the day, though, like, dude, it's trivia. Like some days you just don't know the questions,
Yeah.
and like that's what I'm like. You guys got so hot at the end there, and like by all the records, like we're not a good team, but we've beat the
Yeah.
Frankettes and the Arizona. You just
Yeah.
never know. So it's
You
like
know,
you never
only
know.
3 teams have ever beat the Frankettes, and they all played last night.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say, like, because I've written some questions for you before, I have a really hard time. Like, if you know, like, if you're writing a question, you kind of know the answer. It's so hard to gauge, for me at least, being like, are these even questions? You know,
that's the thing, and I get this all the time, and it's the hardest thing about the dozen is not writing a question. It's writing 2 questions.
2 questions that are
2 even questions. And I try my fucking
That's
hardest.
actually a very good point.
It has. I could write 12 fucking trivia questions in 30 minutes. But there's questions I can never use because there's no equal side to it.
Yep. And then it's like,
and here's the thing. People are always going to think one is easier because you may know one more.
Right.
Than the other.
Yeah.
Like it's
Nothing. I love nothing
natural.
more than when someone says it's a hard question. The other side nails it right away because then it's a scapegoat.
and it's not even that. And this is the thing that you do that I actually happen to enjoy. It's not even that it's the same category. It's that they're written the same way. Like the language is like, it's not like, oh, you have to name this one guy and then you have to do like almost like a word problem.
Which in the first couple dozens we did do that. The questions weren't the same style.
Yeah.
And I if I can make them a little different variant, I will. But like again, in the end of the day, you just want to like. And I know I think people say like, look, if someone's just better, they're just better, which I get. But I think in the end, that typically does come to fruition.
Yeah.
Like, the team is better, but people just like, oh, I want close matches and I want scoring. And
But you don't know, bro. Like Frank Gatz got beat in the first round last year.
Yeah.
Like it's just like shit happens.
Shit does
like,
happen, yeah.
Like shit happens.
But
like,
in the end, like my goal is to make a match as even. I don't want to give any team a extra leg up. In some areas, I will, but it will always balance out.
Yep.
Like if I give Kirk a little something here, I'll give if they're playing Brandon a little something over there.
I would agree.
And I as just a person who watches, it doesn't seem like. It's not like in golf where you're giving somebody like 6 strokes. It's not really like that to make it even. It's more like, like I never feel like someone starts up like, oh, they have a 6-point advantage just because they're worse. It doesn't.
Also,
that's not the vibe.
Also, like I know this has been said many times, but people who like if you're just watching and listen, we're all guilty of it too in the office. Like it's way harder when you're in the moment.
Oh,
people don't like I get that from White Sox Dave every time we play. I knew all fucking first 4 questions. It's like, Dave, then why don't you do that on your matches, bro?
He did that last night.
I know.
He goes, the questions are way easier tonight. I'm like,
dude,
I don't think so.
Like, dude, like until you're sitting there
and
and
we
you
put
got
up 4.
Yes, and you got 30 seconds to fucking like really get your brain moving. Because like sometimes your brain just like it just gets blocked by that maze, you know, and you're fucked.
Or if like there's been times where it's like and. It could just be like a reading comprehension thing where you're like, you listen to it and you read it. And if you like miss a word dramatically, and then it's like, wait a second. Oh, now I get it. Now you have to like restart that whole cycle. So
like Vince Vaughn, like for some reason we all, even like they had a block on it too.
Yeah.
It's like Vince Vaughn, but we should definitely know more. And like, it was just, you just get blocked. I don't know what to say. It's just, you get blocked.
People don't factor that in. But yeah, I mean, look, like could I just write questions? Someone's like, why don't you just do them randomly? And then like because then it's like I gotta lay out like oh my god, you guys are really easier in Chicago, but like if like Yak is so diverse. Bucks, Knicks, Eagles, Phillies, Flyers, all like
Chicago.
That's so many teams to not write questions for.
Yep.
It's like again, people have said like, why don't you make it easier and stuff? Because like that's not fun. This show would, if we did random fucking trivia, the show would not be successful.
I agree.
This show's successful because every one of y'all who plays enjoys it, puts on a show, and because the matches are even matches, and most matches are close, and that's what people want. They want to see people get shit right, and that's why I'll be hard on myself whenever it's too hard. I hate when it gets too hard. I'm like, fuck, I should not have done that. Yeah. Sometimes it's not intentional.
Yeah.
It's low scoring, and it's like it should have been. But like people want to see scoring.
Yeah.
They want to see some challenges here and there. So like that's why I do it, and that's why it's successful.
I do like how you kind of dial it up for when it's a championship.
Yeah.
Like if we have like a crown match, because I don't know how many did we play, 3 or 4?
Played a bunch.
Okay. Where
5.
It like 5? Damn, we've been good.
No, 4.
4. Okay.
You upset Out of Office.
Yep.
You beat Uptown Balls, and then you won 4 consecutive crown matches.
And then it's just it like I like that feeling where it's like, fuck, that's a hard question, and it should be hard. You know? Like it's I like the format the way it is. So
yeah. It's it's exhausting, but I thoroughly enjoy it. And that's, again, I'm not fixing it.
Yeah.
Like they're not. Trust me. The matches are not fixed.
Yeah.
I joked last year, like if the matches were fixed, Frank Getz wouldn't have lost in the first round last year. Yak would have made the championship. It's just how it is. Like of course I had to put Dave would not be 2-6 in his career. Dave Portnoy would be undefeated if I was fixing matches, right? Like he would be in every one because all his matches have the biggest views. Chicklets would win every match. It's like, but I just want to make him even. I want the most electric stuff. Someone's going to do it, so there'll be an upset Cinderella
For sure.
in the tournament this year.
For sure.
I don't know what you guys are going to be now.
What?
You guys will probably be like a 5 or 6 seed to be my guess.
How can that be, Jeff?
That's just my guess.
But based on
your point,
I got a problem with the BCS of the dozen.
So there's 3. So fan vote is huge, obviously.
Yeah.
So
we got docked because we got Cheatergate.
I think your fan vote's gonna hurt quite a bit from last night.
Why is that?
I think
because we were so bad
after White Sox Dave Gate. I just think it's gonna hurt. Points scored per game. You guys are very low on points scored per game.
Yeah.
Is a massive points scored per game is a massive thing because it's very hard to do wins and losses when certain teams have played so many more matches.
Yep.
I mean, top 6 is like you're all separated by hairs.
Yeah.
Like right now, computer rankings right now after this is not factoring the championship match. You guys do drop down quite a hair, but you have big wins.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, the fan vote is going to determine if you're like the fucking 3 seed or like the 6 seed.
Okay. Yeah. The Cheatergate's tough. I do still I stand with my guy. White Sox Dave.
Point per game is that is why we play all the matches out, and that's why like the fellas, Nate, Jack Mack, and Big Ev. That match was over, and Uncle Chaps was using lifelines. They were out of the tournament. And Uncle Chaps was pressing down 20 with a minute to go, and he stole like 2 or 3 points. And I told Nate, I'm like, you legitimately might make a playing game or miss the tournament because you didn't score those points.
Wow. Okay.
And you guys average you're lower on the end of the spectrum of scoring.
Where are we in like the dozen free agency trade market where we had some big time controversy? Are you going to lock down the league on roster movement? If in
the summer we will. I mean, if someone has to replace in the tournament, we'll have to. It's like I have no option.
I mean from like a team chemistry dynamic standpoint, like we had the Dante Riggs, like that whole thing. Or do we have a roster freeze going forward?
No, not in the summer. I will say people are gonna be disappointed by this. I was gonna break teams up and do a draft. I don't really want to do that right now. There are some teams I'm going to break up.
I would love that.
If you guys want to split up, we'll do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give teams an option. But that's tough because like
when's my contract up, Jeff?
Here's the thing, like the first year is almost like we built it.
Yeah.
Second year, it finally picked up hype, and I think the live events were monumental. Turned out to be huge for us. I don't like. You guys only played one live event. It didn't great, but like, why would I not want the Chicago guys?
Oh, I know what you want. I'm just talking about me.
I'll let you guys do it, but I don't. I was gonna do like Final Four. Everyone else is split up. We'll do a draft. But like at this point, we have more than 4 teams who have like. Well, I'm gonna talk to a bunch of
like a real following.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to. Not yet. Like not. I don't want to do that yet.
Okay.
Not like
The boys are hurting out there on the couch. Can you zoom on them? Will that work? Carl.
I mean, I don't know. You're an all-star. I don't know. Like,
well, that's what I mean. I feel like I would have some. I would have some suitors. I would be like, hey, we should probably get Chief Services, get them away from the two knuckleheads.
I will allow teams to split up, but I'm not going to force it.
What about match play? 1-on-1.
So I am gonna. Kirk doesn't know. I'm gonna play Kirk this summer.
Oh
wow,
for sure.
Oh.
But I will do 1-on-1. I like
good
that.
scoops here.
I also might do so the playing game this year, which is I ran through a bunch of scenarios today. There's a very solid chance, depending on how the fellas foreplay match goes, that we'll have a play-in game.
Okay.
It's because anything within so if a team is average ranking within 0.5 of each other, it triggers a playing game. That's why last year ZD was in.
Uptown
with Uptown Balls, the controversial match. That fucking guy who wrote that fucking question for us. He stopped writing the question.
It was tough.
He had the list in front of him, and he just didn't fucking write the rest of the question.
Is he still here?
We have a professional fact checker now, by the way.
Ooh.
We added it for the rest of the season and the tournament and shit, and people who like try to dunk on me on Twitter. Like somebody tried to do about the Ricky Stanzi question. They're like, Terrell Pryor was drafted that year too. Big Ten supplemental draft. That doesn't fucking count.
What is it you're about to get unloaded on? Professional fact checker. Is this the guy who's going on Twitter and he's making sure that there's no misinformation? Is he the guy who decides this all?
Who?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, no. We
We
have somebody who used to she fact checked game shows, Stump the Schwab, Millionaire, shit like that. We had to because it's I can't have happen what happened last year again.
Yeah.
I just can't. It's not worth my time. It's not worth our editor's time. It's not worth anybody's time to have that happen again.
Yeah, I hear you.
It was. I was miserable when that happened. I was very miserable. That sucked ass.
No, I get it.
Ended up working out, but I will allow.
Look at his Chiefs' wheels are spinning.
I'll allow.
I got my GM hat
I don't want to force
free
teams to
agency
break
hat
up.
on.
It's not.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I understand. I understand that you're the commissioner. I'm just a player. I'm
A
self-interested.
draft would be electric, so I will give teams option to split up.
Okay.
I'm not gonna if
Yeah, I don't think I could ever-
if I say
I don't think I could ever leave Clem.
no, I'm not gonna break up ZD with
Yeah.
Dave. Dave is not gonna literally. Dave will only play with the two of you. So why would I?
think so.
Yeah.
And so if you guys lose in the first round, am I gonna force you to split up? No. I think I'll allow teams to split up, and I might do a draft.
I mean, that might just be a fun thing for a live show.
Yeah.
Hey,
but-
we're going to have a live show and we're going to have new teams and we're going to have to build hype. We're going to do a live draft.
The playing game is going to be a best of 5 only bonus rounds. So I might do a mini tournament of bonus rounds at some point.
I like that.
That'd be
We're
kind
getting
of
some
cool.
good scoops here.
Yeah.
Bonus rounds is the hardest thing to do, by the way. That's the hardest question
To write. Yeah.
You would think that there's so many lists in the world. There's not.
They're well, I don't want to, I can't spoil it, but, or we've had one that was, the teams with the most amount of social media following.
Any Big Four sports team thing we did now, we actually did it. We typed everything out.
Hand it.
So we're adding it. We did time zones.
Yeah.
I put time zones. We put
Yeah, that was
last
a
time
good-
they won
that
a
was a good
championship.
wrinkle.
It was a very good wrinkle.
Yeah.
Year they were founded. So we're adding every bit of it's any day that we think of something.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
Do you have a working
Smart.
database for that kind of stuff? That information?
We're building it now.
Okay.
Because people will send great list ideas. I'm like, this just doesn't exist on the internet. I can't then we have to manually do it.
Dude, even I think you are not accounting for how that you're in that mode. I guarantee you if you just did one where it's name every team in the NHL, people would fuck up. Especially the
fuck up.
NHL. You know what I mean?
I want a bonus round tie one day so fucking bad.
But even that question where it's
that's
you
a good
me-
point.
I'm
gave me-
telling you,
gave-
even Sporkle, if you hop on Sporkle,
Yeah,
you play,
and you're like-
name every NFL team, I can't believe I forgot the fucking Panthers.
You try to go division by division.
Yeah.
You're like,
somebody would fuck up.
AFC North, and then you just leave out the Ravens, and you just
It's worth giving it a shot.
Yeah.
The bonus rounds in the tournament are going to be very straightforward. I will say that. So that's actually,
All right.
you know what? Someone's gonna get name all the teams in 2 conferences or something. Like that.
You know what is
That's a great
sneaky?
idea.
The most amazed I am during the dozen is KB with his capitals and countries is just
KB
what
with Capitals is, and I talked to you about this earlier, Eddie. Clem has this problem now too. I can't give him that anymore.
Yeah.
KB doesn't get geography anymore.
Yeah.
And it's funny. It's you with hockey or any of the hockey guys. KB can't get geography. It's a cheat code at this point. I'll give KB
It's just astounding that one person could have all of that completely useless information just at the tip of his tongue.
That's a
at
good
all
example.
times.
If you play Frankettes, I could do actually you play Frankettes, you get hockey because Tank knows hockey.
Tank definitely knows.
Yeah,
hockey.
you get history.
If KB if they play somebody. I might give them who knows nothing about geography idiots. I'd maybe give KB geography and I give the other team college basketball if they knew it.
Okay.
It's an even one.
Yeah.
KB is nuts on capitals. Yeah.
Well, and it's just he knows the capital of countries that most people have never heard of.
Yeah.
You could just be what's
he
it,
never gets the nearest chance. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Frankettes and Yak were they were on in the first round too. That was the other thing too. Even if you guys had played well,
Yeah,
dude,
it's
they were fucking. They were so. Dude, the Yak didn't even get to NFL yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tough, but what are you going to do? But all right, great event, Jeff.
Thank you.
You gave us some good nuggets. So any Big Dozen fans, they should definitely listen to
Yeah,
this.
this is my little behind. Yeah,
Can I ask you one more nugget? Are you stepping down from LCB?
No.
That was completely random. I just want.
I mean, I
was
don't.
just trying to pull more out of you
LCB is Ken Jack is holding down the fort because this is just obviously this. My dad passing really threw a lot of shit, and people are starting to get a little like angry that I'm not on LCB. It's not intentional. Like I just don't. I can't.
Yeah.
This like I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Like the dozen right now. Like I mean.
Yeah,
we have this mat. We have high noon adjacent everything.
Yep.
Like I just like I don't know what to do. So
yeah, so you're in a tough spot with that.
in the summer I'm off and LCB and we're gonna like kind of get back into the groove on things. Like LCB still movierankings.net is my baby. So
I use movie like 2-3 times a week.
Ken Jack and I are gonna really sit down and like we are moving. Like it's just tough because we don't have resources behind it.
Yeah.
If we had money and resources, we would just. It's tough. I'm
not joking. I'll be like, I'll be home with a girlfriend. We'll be flipping through, like, oh, let's find something to watch. And I'm like, oh, this sounds interesting. And she'll just be, what does Jeff Lowe say about it?
Lowe,
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, Jeff Lowe.
Ken Jack and I are gonna make that like more of a thing, and we're starting to.
It's awesome.
It's just it sucks. You know, it's just like
how do you? Yeah. Well, can we hold on that and then. I still do want to talk about like the Netflix streaming. Like, can we do a podcast on that after this
we're just
afternoon?
running out. We got a lot of fucking shit to record.
Yeah,
I'm excited. LCB, I'm excited for the future. We're gonna revamp LCB. We're just trying to. It's. I mean, I don't think people truly appreciate or understand the fact that we, like, Trill just like he had to leave. He had to hang it up. He retired. But like we just lost. We lost our third.
Yeah.
Like, the whole show started because of him. There's no reason we ever had anyone listen. It was, I mean, we haven't. And that's not an offense to like Chris Castellani or like Nick or when like you pop on. Like it just has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, I mean the tripod analogy is just so
it's
so played, but it's for a reason.
True.
Yeah, and it's just like we just haven't. It's tough.
Yeah.
But the bracket, we did the bracketing. Who Ken Jack's crushed it on the bracket.
Yeah,
I haven't been on the bracket in months, and when I return, he's going to keep hosting. I'm just going to be a panelist. Which the bracket, we got shit for that, and it's been very enjoyable.
That's good then.
That's good.
It's been awesome. Yeah.
But after the rundown, can we come back and do the streaming services thing?
Yeah, absolutely, because it's very interesting. I want to talk
yeah.
about that. We'll get into that.
They shouldn't have lost The Office. That's your problem.
Well, we'll get in. Save it.
Yeah.
All right, then, everybody. That's it for today. Thank you for listening. That's it for this week, actually. So we'll see you all for a draft on Monday.